A dear friend of mine who is now a published author, at one time was an aspiring writer and wrote a short story about a man whose father had great accomplishments, whose son had great accomplishments, but he himself was caught between them, and there wasn't much one could say about him, and so he called him Isaac or Yitzhak. Why? Because he was like the biblical Yitzhak. We knew a lot about his father Avraham. We know a lot about his son Yaakov. But how much do we know about Yitzhak? In our Parsha Toldot, we learn, Ele Toldot Yitzhak ben Avraham. This is the story. These are the generations of Yitzhak, the son of Avraham. And we should learn, as we learn elsewhere in the Torah, the generations of Yitzhak. But instead, the Torah then tells us, Avraham olidet Yitzhak, that he is the son of Avraham. Well, we know that. Constantly in the shadows of his father. Yitzhak can't escape from the shadows of his father and his son. Avraham, we know, is a great advocate for justice in the world. Yaakov, the father of the tribes that become the Israelites. Yaakov, who wrestles with God and gives the name Israel to his descendants. Poor Yitzhak doesn't seem to have much of a personality of his own. So much of what he does is a repetition of the events that happened to his father. He and his wife have to agonize over bringing children into the world. He has to encounter the same problems that his father did, passing off his wife as his sister in the very same place in the world. He redigs the same wells that his father dug and gives them the same names. Poor Yitzhak doesn't seem to have much of his own life. He's living in the shadows of others. And so he gets judged as being somewhat nebushi, somewhat of a non-person. Yes, he is one of the Avot, and we invoke his name every time we talk about the Avot. Whenever we say the Amidah, we talk about Elohei Avraham, Elohei Itzhak, Elohei Yaakov. But still, we understand better what we're talking about when we speak of Avraham and Yaakov than when we speak of Yitzhak. On the other hand, perhaps we need to think of Yitzhak a little differently as the one who gives us a little bit of reassurance, especially for our generation. We live in a time where everything is constantly changing. The new iPhone 5 just came out, and the plugs for the new iPhone 5 no longer match or are different from the old plugs, so everybody has to go out and get new plugs for the iPhone 5 and can't use the old plugs from the previous iPhone models. Everything's changing. Technology changes so quickly. Maybe we need some kind of reassurance. Maybe we need a little bit of Yitzhak. Maybe we need the guy who takes us back to the things that happened in the past and tells us it's okay to repeat the past in our present. To redo the things that the previous generation did before, we can redo them in our lives. Maybe to anchor ourselves in the actions and the values and the behavioral patterns of those who came before us. Sometimes we need to be less on the cutting edge and need a little bit more tradition. So it's not always so bad to be Yitzhak. And I think when I look at Parshat Toldot and I wonder about who Yitzhak is and why we want to invoke his name each and every time we mention him in our prayers, Yitzhak becomes the anchor. He's not the pioneer for justice, and he's not the one who wrestles with God. He's the one who gives me a little bit of reassurance. He's almost like comfort food. He's my anchor. He locates me. He gives me the confidence I need, the strength I need to face tomorrow by bringing back memories from yesterday. Thank God there's a little bit of Yitzhak in each and every one of us. Shabbat Shalom.
hab dir Chaver, lang schon nicht gesehen sich. Wo bist du gewöhnt die alle Tag, lang schon nicht gesehen sich. Wo bist du gewöhnt die alle Tag?